The lock on your front door is a joke. It is a psychological placebo made of cheap brass and denial. Listen to me. Can you hear that? That is the sound of the social contract snapping. The grid is dead, the water in the pipes is stagnant, and the temperature is dropping. Your suburban home, with its drywall sheets that a teenager could punch through and its ground-level windows, is not a shelter. It is a coffin with a welcome mat. You are sitting in a kill box waiting for a desperate mob to realize that you have 3 cans of soup left. Stop hoping for a rescue that isn't coming. The cities are now graveyards, but amidst the concrete skeletons, there are hidden organs that are still functioning. I am going to show you 7 forgotten structures that defy the chaos, buildings designed by physics and engineering to survive the apocalypse you are currently denying. This is not about comfort. This is about architectural dominance. You need to move, and you need to know where to go before the sun goes down. The biological imperative, industrial fermentation hubs. Most survivors will die of dehydration within 72 hours, and they will die surrounded by water they cannot drink. While the amateurs are killing each other over the last plastic bottle at the grocery store, you need to head to the industrial district and locate a craft brewery. You are not going there to party. You are going there because a brewery is, functionally, a biological life support system disguised as a hipster hangout. These facilities are built on the fundamental physics of fluid dynamics and sterilization. Consider the architecture of survival found here. The primary asset is the filtration infrastructure. Industrial brewing requires water purity that exceeds municipal standards. You are looking for reverse osmosis systems, carbon filtration units, and UV sterilization arrays hardwired into the building's plumbing. The physics of reverse osmosis is your salvation here. By applying pressure greater than the osmotic pressure to the contaminated water on one side of a semi-permeable membrane, you force pure solvent, which is water, through while rejecting the solute, which is the bacteria, heavy metals, and radioactive isotopes. This is not just filtering, this is molecular sieving. You can pull sludge from a nearby river, run it through the brewery's pre-existing loop, and drink it without risking dysentery. Then there is the caloric density. Breweries are filled with silos of grain. Barley, wheat, and oats are not just ingredients, they are raw, shelf-stable carbohydrates. A 50-pound sack of grain provides tens of thousands of calories. When you boil this grain in the massive stainless steel mash tuns, you are not making beer. You are making porridge. You are creating a sustainable food source that can feed a squad for months. The massive stainless steel tanks are vat fermenters that can also store thousands of gallons of potable water protected from light and contamination by inches of food-grade steel. Furthermore, the fermentation process itself is a chemical weapon against infection. Alcohol is a disinfectant, a fuel, and a currency. In a world without money, a liter of high-proof ethanol buys you more loyalty than a stack of gold bars. Structurally, these buildings are often situated in warehouse districts with thick brick walls, few windows, and heavy roll-up doors designed for semi-trucks. You can seal the loading dock and you have an instant fortress with a renewable water table. But water and food are useless if a simple scratch turns into gangrene. You need to fix the machine that is your body. The clinical bastion, veterinary and dental surgeries. Hospitals are the first places to fall. They are focal points for disease, panic, and violence. They are traps. Do not go to the hospital. Instead, you must navigate to the strip malls and the quiet commercial zones to find the overlooked medical nodes, veterinary clinics, and dental surgery centers. The psychology of the mob is your shield here. People looking for OxyContin raid pharmacies. People looking for survival ignore the vet. This is a fatal error in their logic and a strategic advantage for you. The inventory in a veterinary clinic is chemically identical to human medicine. Amoxicillin is amoxicillin, regardless of whether the label features a golden retriever or a human silhouette. The dosages differ, but the molecular structure of the antibiotic remains constant. You will find clindamycin, cephalexin, and other broad-spectrum antibiotics that will stop sepsis in its tracks. You will find ketamine and xylazine, powerful dissociative anesthetics and sedatives that can facilitate field surgery or manage severe pain when there is no other option. The crown jewel of these locations, however, is the autoclave. This is a device that utilizes the physics of thermodynamics to sterilize instruments. By subjecting tools to high-pressure saturated steam at 121 degrees Celsius, the autoclave denatures the proteins of bacteria, viruses, and spores. It destroys life at a cellular level. In a collapse scenario, a dirty knife is a death sentence. An autoclave allows you to reuse bandages, sterilize surgical steel, and clean wounds with absolute certainty. Dental clinics offer similar bounties, specifically local anesthetics like lidocaine, which block the sodium channels in your neurons, stopping pain signals instantly. These buildings are also easier to defend than a sprawling hospital campus. They typically have a single front entrance and a rear exit with small compartmentalized exam rooms that can be locked from the inside. The interior walls are often lead-lined in X-ray rooms, providing a small but significant barrier against radiation and ballistics. You are securing a micro-hospital that the rest of the world has forgotten. But a body is only as good as the tools it wields. You cannot rebuild civilization with your bare hands. The Fabricator's Forge, HVAC and mechanical shops. Entropy is the enemy. Things break, generators seize, pipes burst, and barriers crumble. The survivors who rely on scavenging will eventually run out of things to find. The survivors who thrive will be the ones who can repair and create. For this, you need an HVAC repair shop. These locations are the unsung engineering hubs of the modern world. While others look for guns, you should be looking for the ability to manipulate steel and electricity. An HVAC shop is a treasure trove of welding equipment, sheet metal, copper tubing, and high-grade tools. The physics of welding, using an electric arc to melt and fuse metal, allows you to turn a civilian vehicle into an armored transport or seal a door permanently. You will find acetylene torches that can cut through bank vaults or structural beams. You will find refrigerant tanks that can be repurposed for compressed air systems or fuel storage. The true power here lies in the components. Motors, capacitors, fans, and compressors are the building blocks of makeshift generators and water pumps. You can use a fan motor from an AC unit to build a wind turbine. You can use copper tubing to build a steam engine or a distillation coil for water purification. These shops often contain stockpiles of freon and other refrigerants, which are hazardous but can be used as expedient chemical deterrents if your perimeter is breached. Strategically, these shops are located in industrial parks with concrete block construction. They are designed to house expensive inventory, so they often have security bars on the windows and reinforced doors. The layout is typically a large open bay with high ceilings, allowing you to bring vehicles inside for modification. By controlling an HVAC shop, you become the mechanic of the wasteland. You can trade repairs for food. You can trade fabrication for protection. You are no longer a scavenger. You are an engineer of the new world. But all this equipment needs a secure vault, a place where the geometry of the building itself fights the enemy. The concrete labyrinth, multi-story self-storage. You need to rethink your concept of a castle. A castle is not just thick walls, it is a confusing geometry designed to break the momentum of an attack. Multi-story self-storage facilities are the unintentional castles of the 21st century. They are concrete monoliths with minimal windows, controlled access points, and an interior layout that is a nightmare for an invading force. You are not just inhabiting a building, you are weaponizing a maze. The structural integrity of these facilities is massive. They are built to hold the immense weight of hoarded goods, meaning the floors are reinforced concrete capable of stopping small arms fire from below or above. The external walls are often windowless slabs of precast concrete. This eliminates the line of sight for snipers and prevents thermal leakage. The only way in is through the main bay or the pedestrian doors, which are easily barricaded. Once inside, the tactical advantage of the corridor becomes apparent. The long, narrow hallways create what tactical teams call fatal funnels. An attacker cannot spread out. They must advance in a single file, eliminating their numerical advantage. You can hold a hallway against a dozen attackers because only one can engage you at a time. The metal roll-up doors of the individual units provide concealment and secondary barriers. You can breach the thin sheet metal walls between units to create secret escape tunnels, moving laterally through the building without ever entering the main hallway. The contents of the units are the ultimate scavenge pile. You are sitting on thousands of sealed time capsules. Winter clothing, camping gear, canned food, and tools are locked behind those orange doors. You don't need to go on raid missions. You just need a pair of bolt cutters to raid the next unit over. The sheer volume of stuff allows you to build barricades that are meters thick. You can fill the stairwells with furniture, forcing attackers to spend hours clearing a path while you rain debris down on them. The science here is friction and compartmentalization. You are increasing the energy cost of every step your enemy takes. However, physical security is meaningless if you freeze to death. You need a location that generates its own heat. The thermal bunker, data centers. The internet may be dead, but the physical body of the internet is immortal. Data centers are the most robust civilian structures on the planet. They are built to protect servers worth billions of dollars from fire, flood, earthquakes, and power grid failure. If you can breach the perimeter of a data center, you have found a bunker that rivals military installations. The key survival metric here is energy independence and thermal inertia. Data centers are designed with massive redundancy. They have backup generators the size of locomotives, fed by underground tanks holding tens of thousands of gallons of diesel or propane. When the grid fails, these systems are automated to kick in. If you find a facility where the fuel tanks are full, you have electricity for months. This means light, heat, and the ability to run power tools. The cooling systems, while designed to keep servers cold, can be manipulated. The waste heat generated by the servers, if they are still running on backup power, or the generators themselves can be harvested to warm the living quarters. The walls are thick, reinforced concrete designed to withstand blast waves and tornadoes. There are no windows. This is crucial for heat retention. In a winter scenario, a glass skyscraper is a refrigerator. A windowless concrete box is a thermal battery. The massive thermal mass of the concrete absorbs heat during the day and releases it slowly at night, moderating the internal temperature even without active heating. Security is baked into the architecture. These facilities utilize man-traps at the entrances, small vestibules with interlocking doors where you can trap an intruder between two layers of bulletproof glass. The fire suppression systems are often based on inert gas deployment. They flood the room with nitrogen or argon to suppress fire without damaging electronics. In a dire situation, this system could be weaponized to asphyxiate an attacking force that has breached the server room, provided you have your own breathing apparatus. You are living inside a machine built to never die, but sometimes the ground is too dangerous. You need to ascend. The vertical citadel, mid-rise corporate offices. Skyscrapers are traps. They are too high, too swaying, and if a fire starts on the 10th floor, everyone above burns. Single-story buildings are indefensible coffins. The tactical sweet spot is the mid-rise office building, specifically those between 5 and 10 stories. This is the Goldilocks zone of urban survival. It offers the vertical advantage without the logistical nightmare of a tower. The primary physics principle here is gravity. It is the ultimate force multiplier. By securing the 4th or 5th floor, you force any attacker to fight gravity to get to you. They must climb stairs, exhausting themselves, while you have the easier task of dropping heavy objects down the stairwell gap. The stairwells in these buildings are fire-rated concrete tubes. They are choke points. If you destroy the lower flight of stairs, the building becomes a fortress accessible only by ladder or rope, which you control. The mid-rise offers visibility. You can establish observation posts to monitor the surrounding blocks for threats. You can see the weather coming. You can spot the fires. Yet, you are not so high that you are isolated from the ground. You can rappel down if necessary. The roofs of these buildings often house gravity-fed water tanks. Even after the pumps die, thousands of gallons of water remain in the header tanks on the roof. Gravity will deliver this water to your floor with the turn of a valve. These buildings are skeletons of steel and concrete. They are fire-resistant by code. The commercial furniture inside, heavy desks, filing cabinets, cubicle walls, is ideal for constructing fortification lines. You can strip the copper wiring from the walls for trade. You can use the drop ceiling tiles for insulation. The corporate office is a resource-rich environment designed for thousands of people, now empty for you and your crew. But even the best fortress will fall if you cannot control the most precious resource of all. The HYDRO-IMPERIUM, small municipal water treatment. Water is not just life, water is power. In a collapse, the currency is not gold or ammunition, it is hydration. A small municipal water treatment plant is the throne from which you can rule the wasteland. We are not talking about the massive, sprawling metropolitan plants that require a staff of hundreds. We are talking about the substations, the smaller facilities on the outskirts of town. These are automated, secure, and vital. The science of water treatment is a sequence of chemical and physical assaults on entropy: coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, and disinfection. These plants have stockpiles of chemicals: chlorine gas or sodium hypochlorite for killing pathogens, alum for coagulation to settle out dirt. Even without power, the sedimentation basins work on gravity. The sand filters work on physics. You can manually treat thousands of gallons of water a day if you understand the chemistry. The facility itself is a defensive perimeter. They are fenced, gated, and monitored. They are usually situated near a natural water source like a river or reservoir. This gives you infinite raw material. By securing this location, you become the utility company. You can trade clean, disease-free water for food, for labor, for guards. You control the biological necessity of everyone in a 10-mile radius. The danger here is the chemistry. Chlorine gas is heavier than air and deadly. If a tank ruptures, it flows like water into low-lying areas, burning lungs and melting eyes. You must respect the hazardous materials on site, but if you can harness them, you have a weapon of mass denial and a product of infinite value. The pumps may be silent, but the tanks are full and the river keeps flowing. You are the gatekeeper of life. The system of survival. You now have the map. You understand that a grocery store is a grave and a house is a trap. You see the city not as a ruin, but as a collection of resources waiting to be unlocked by physics and courage. But listen to me closely, because this is the most important part. A single location is a prison. A network is a kingdom. The ultimate survivor does not just pick one of these. They build a system. The HVAC shop repairs the generator for the data center. The data center provides the electricity to run the pumps at the water treatment plant. The brewery produces the fuel and the food. The self-storage unit holds the surplus. The dental clinic keeps the workers alive. And the mid-rise office is the watchtower that oversees it all. You must stop thinking like a refugee and start thinking like an architect. The cold is coming. The fires are burning. The mob is hungry. You have the knowledge now. The difference between a statistic and a survivor is action. The sun is setting on the old world. Do not let it set on you. Here is your mission. Locate the nearest industrial park in your area on a physical map. Identify one of these 7 structures. Go there. Scout the perimeter. Check the doors. Formulate your breach plan. Do it now, because tomorrow someone else will be reading this script and they will be living in your fortress. Tell me in the comments, which of these locations is within walking distance of your current location? I will tell you the specific weakness of that building you need to patch first. Move.